Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra, Chapter 7.4 Notes. Today we are talking about real-world application of linear systems. Our learning target today is to be able to solve applicational problems involving linear systems. So, there's a study done of 8th graders a couple years ago, and here's the problem that they were given. Mr. Jones owns a farm on which he raises chickens and bunnies. Mr. Jones lost track of how many of each type of animal he has on his farm. The only thing he knows is there are 100 animal legs and 34 animal heads on the farm. Assuming there are no mutants, how many of each animal does he have? So 8th grade kids were given this problem, but the only problem is they couldn't use any numbers to solve this. They were given 40 minutes, and they barely completed it. How would you even do this without that? You know, it tells you that you got these 34 animal heads. I guess you could draw all these heads out, all 34, and then kind of count, make some of them bunnies, some of them chickens, and going back and forth. But can't you see how long that would take? Isn't it kind of nice that we're not making you do that at all? You can actually use numbers to do this. So we're going to go back to this problem in just a second, but we need to learn how to solve real-world problems using systems of equations, okay? So the first thing we need to identify is identify the unknown values and assign variables. So identify the unknown values and assign variables. Okay. The next is setup. Okay. For each of these, we're going to have two equations. Okay. Remember that when we set up the two equations, that the totals go after the equal sign. Okay. And you'll see that more after we go through a couple. Okay. Solve, and you're going to solve the system by using substitution or elimination. And then finally, the most important after you do all that is to label your answer with correct units. You don't know how many times that we see this, and at the very end you'll have the right answers, but you won't say. You won't tell us what it is. So let's go back. So how many of each animal type does he have on his farm? Okay, we know that there are chickens and bunnies. Okay, so X is going to equal the chickens, and Y is going to equal the bunnies. Okay, so we have 100 legs and 34 heads. Okay, so the next step is to set up, and we have to have our totals over here, and we've got 100, and our other one is 34. So 100, that's talking about the legs. So if we're talking about the chickens, which is X, and Y's are the bunnies, how many legs does a chicken have? Well, a chicken has 2 legs, and a bunny has 4 legs. So that's where the 2 and the 4 come from. Those are their legs, okay? And now for heads, each animal has 1 head. So 2x plus 4y equals 100, and then x plus y equals 34. Those are 2 equations. So now step 3 is to solve. I'm going to use elimination, so I'm going to multiply that by -2. Now I'm going to move this over here so my first equation stays the same. And now when you multiply everything, you get negative 2x, negative 2y, negative 64. Okay, add everything up. Your x's cancel. We get 2y equals 32, and that's because I wrote 64 instead of 68. Okay, divide by 2, and you get y equals 16. Okay, so now that we got y, we can plug it in. Okay, plug it into the easier equation. X plus 16 equals 34. Subtract both sides by 16, and we get x equals 16, or 18. Oh man, I'm making all sorts of mistakes today. Okay, so we know our answers. So now we need to label that we have 18 chickens and 16 bunnies. Okay, it's a nice thing about these linear systems is that you can take problems like this and you can actually go through and solve them. Okay, so example number 2. Kayla's school is selling tickets to a spring musical. On the first day of the ticket sales, the school sold 10 adult tickets, 3 student tickets, and made a total of $75. On the second day, the school sold 11 adult tickets, 12 student tickets, and made a total of $126. Find the price of each adult and student ticket. Okay, so identify the unknowns. So step 1 over here is X. We're going to have that be the adult tickets, and Y is going to be the student tickets. Now, when you're looking at this, you want to look at each sentence because each sentence kind of tells us what we need to know. Okay, the total is 75, and then if we look at the yellow one, the total was 126. So there are our totals. But now everything in the blue goes together. So 10 adult tickets, that's 10x plus 3y. Okay, and on the yellow we have 11x plus 12y. See how all of those go together? Okay, now if we're going to do elimination, I'm going to do the crisscross method. Okay, and I need to make one of those negative, so I'm going to make the top one negative. Okay, and just to help out, I want to make sure I don't get any wrong numbers. I'm putting my calculator up. All right, we have to do 11 times 10. So 11 up, and that's negative 11 times 10. So negative 110. Oh, I know this next one. Negative 33y. Well, don't forget your x's and your y's. Equals, and then 75 times negative 11, negative 825. Okay, and now we're going to multiply by the 10. So you get 110x plus 120y equals 1,260. All right, combine your like terms. Now we got 120 minus 33. So you get 87y equals negative 825 plus 1,260. And we get 435. And to get the y by itself, we have to divide by 87. It's kind of small right there, I'm sorry. So divide that by 87, and we get 5. Okay? So y equals 5. Well, now that we know what y is, let's plug it back in. So 10x plus 3 times 5 equals 75. 3 times 5 is 15. Subtract the 15 to both sides. We get 10x equals 60. And from there, you should know that x equals 6. Okay? So the final thing is we have to label our answers. So it was $6 for adult tickets, and it was 5 for the students. Okay? And that right there, my friends, is the final answer. All right, number 3. Nora and Mia are selling 2 types of pies for school fundraiser, blueberry pie and pumpkin pie. Nora sold 13 blueberry pies and 2 pumpkin pies and made a total of $92. Mia sold 13 blueberry pies and 5 pumpkin pies and made a total of $152. Find the cost of each type of pie. So, I want to see if you guys can set everything up. Okay, so label everything off to the side. See if you can set up your equations. If you want to go through and solve it, you can do that too. So, but just go ahead and pause the video and let's see how you do. Okay, and there you go. So the x was blueberry, the y was pumpkin, 13x. Just remember that all of this stuff, oh, let's get the right one. One sentence gives you one equation, okay? One sentence gives you one equation. So now when we're going to eliminate, it doesn't matter which one. We're going to cancel our x's. And so I just need to make one of those negative, okay? So you get negative 13x minus 2y equals negative 92, okay? So add those up. Your x's cancel. 3y equals, if you don't know it in your head, 152 minus 92 equals 60. And to get the y by itself, divide both sides by 3. Y equals 20. Okay. And now we plug back into an original equation, 13x plus 2 times 20 equals 92. 13x plus, not 60, 40 equals 92. Okay, we're just solving right now, guys, so this should not be difficult. 13x equals 52. Divide both sides by 13. And just to double check, 52 divided by 13 gives us a grand total of 4. So x equals 4. All right, so our final answer now is to label each one. So $4 for blueberry and $20 for the pumpkin. Okay? And then circle your answer. All right, let's flip it over. Now, example number 4 is a favorite one on ACT problems, okay, and ACT tests. So let's go ahead and read it. It says the difference of two numbers, x and y, is 5. The sum of the two numbers is 23. Find the two numbers, x and y. So remember, one of the first things is to do the labels, okay? So our two labels are x and y. So x is the first number, and y is the second. Now, let's go through and look at some keywords. Okay. One is saying difference, and difference means to subtract. And I see another one right here, sum, and sum means to add. Is means equals. So then there are two equations, okay? The difference of two numbers, x and y, so the difference of x and y is 5. Their sum is 23. Find the two numbers. So the nice thing, we can do elimination right away because look at your x's, or your y's, I mean. Once you set it up, your y's cancel right away. Remember to add 2x equals 28, and then divide. X equals 14. Okay, and now to find the other one, plug it into either equation. I'm going to go with the bottom because that has less negatives. 14 plus y equals 23. Subtract by 14. Y equals 9. Okay, so our answer is 14 and 9. Those are our two numbers. Now the next part of that, what is the product of the two numbers mentioned in the problem before? Okay, so the two numbers and product. Remember that product means to multiply. So you are going to multiply 14 times 9. Okay? And when you're done with that, you should get 126. Okay? Number 5, you guys are all on your own. Go ahead and pause the video, and once you restart it, the answers will be up. Good luck. Okay, and there you go. So just remember when you're doing this that one sentence equals one equation. Okay? Another sentence will equal another equation. Okay, so that's how you make sure to keep all the information together. I use the crisscross method to cancel out my x's, and then just plug back into one of the original equations. So if you have any questions with this, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Your homework is below. Make sure you do it on a separate sheet of paper. Otherwise, that's it for Algebra Chapter 7.4 or 5.4 if you're in Algebra 2. Real-world applications of linear systems. Thanks for watching, guys.